Now, maybe it's time that we put both of the tribes to one side, and as men, we go after each other. Tribal chief versus tribal chief. Ula Fala on the line. Who will walk out the true tribal chief? And Roman Reigns said when he does, the audience and people worldwide will have no better option than to acknowledge him. SmackDown was the go-home show for Saturday night main event, and we saw Braun Strowman return to the blue brand to take on Carmelo Hayes. We know the final of the Women's United States tournament, and Roman Reigns has laid out his challenge to Solo Sikoa, and that's what we're going to start with today. Roman Reigns wasn't at SmackDown, however, he had a vignette segment alongside Paul Heyman, the wise man. First time I guess they've really been seen together, where he laid out the challenge to Solo Sikoa, saying that, you know, this year it hasn't been a good one. He's lost everything, lost the titles, lost the bloodline, ultimately lost his elders who made him the tribal chief, and he's lost, most importantly, the Ula Fala that Solo Sikoa is now parading around. Now, he stated that, you know, Solo Sikoa's bloodline, they had one win. His own bloodline, the OG Bloodline, they also have a win. Now, maybe it's time that we put both of the tribes to one side, and as men, we go after each other. Tribal chief versus tribal chief. Ula Fala on the line. Who will walk out the true tribal chief? And Roman Reigns said when he does, the audience and people worldwide will have no better option than to acknowledge him. Really strong promo from Roman here. I thought it was really well captured. I liked seeing him and Paul Heyman back together. And of course, this is going to be on Raw's debut on Netflix. So this is going to be like a super important match on a super important show. WWE are kind of stacking this Netflix show, this first one, like it's WrestleMania. And I love to see it. It looks really good so far. So we're going to get Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa. Ula Fala on the line. I can't help but think Roman Reigns wins and finally gets back his Ula Fala, but I'm sure Rock is going to be on that first Netflix episode that's going to be shot from LA. Now, even if he is there, it doesn't mean he might come out immediately after Solo loses and Roman's parading around with the Ula Fala. It could be a bit of a longer game, but I just feel like this is the beginning of Roman Reigns' WrestleMania arc, his WrestleMania storyline. And if Roman Reigns is going to win back that Ula Fala, surely someone else is going to have an issue with it. Surely someone else is going to think, well, what makes you such a good tribal chief? I might have to put that Ula Fala around my neck, the final boss. So I do think that The Rock might show up immediately after. I could think sometime after, and I know all the stories are saying that The Rock is not going to be at WrestleMania. I don't know if I buy it yet. Like, there's just a lot of conflicting information, and most importantly, The Rock himself hasn't come out and said, I'm not going to be there. So yeah, we will just have to wait and see. But I think really strong stuff. Roman Reigns wins back the Ula Fala on the 6th of January, Raw debut on Netflix. And then we are getting into his possible WrestleMania storyline, where it could be The Rock that challenges him for his status at the head of the table. Before we continue on to the review, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new here. My name is Mex, and I'm going to now take you through some of the other biggest stories that happened on SmackDown. We opened up with Jimmy Uso. He came out one crutch, talking about how he hurt his toe at Survivor Series War Games, and you know, he said, look, I'm Big Jim, I'm still here with one big toe, and everyone's asking me what's next. He said how proud he was of Roman, Jay, even Solo Sikoa over the past year. However, the question is, what's next for you, Jimmy? And he talked about titles he could possibly go after, but he said right now, truly, I don't know. But you know, he put himself over big. Not before Drew McIntyre came out and absolutely squashed him. McIntyre came flying out of nowhere, hitting Jimmy Uso with a Claymore, and the beatdown ensued from there. You had all the officials and stuff pour out into the ring to tear McIntyre off him. McIntyre is on this Bloodline Hunter gimmick. I said this weeks ago, yeah? He is coming back and he's looking for everybody in the Bloodline. He's attacked Jey Uso, Sami Uso, and Jimmy Uso at this point. the head of the table is surely going to be on the cards. But yeah, Drew McIntyre's on badness and Jimmy Uso got laid out flat. We saw Nick Aldis and Drew McIntyre walking in the back. Nick Aldis almost telling Drew McIntyre, why are you misbehaving? I've known you for so long. There's no need for these random attacks. Nick Aldis told Drew McIntyre to go and sit in his office as he was speaking to Bianca Belair and Naomi backstage. Now, this conversation was all about what we're going to do now. Jade, we don't know who attacked Jade yet, said Nick Aldis, but I have to take some action, and that is that, Bianca, I might have to strip you of your women's tag team championship. Bianca was not pleased to hear that, and Naomi quickly jumped in and said, listen, Bianca's never relinquished anything in her life. I will tag with her if I need to. Nick Aldis said he has to tell the higher ups, but if you are prepared to do that, you may have a tag defense as early as next week, which both were very happy about. Bianca was very happy that, you know, she could almost continue with Naomi not losing her title. Makes you think, did Naomi take out Jade Cargill to put herself into this position as a tag team champion? We shall see. We are no closer to finding out, but this was an interesting wrinkle in the story. Women's United States title action, Tiffany Stratton taking on Michin. A really decent match, you know. I think that it was very hard to call. I think most people would have said Tiffany Stratton was the favorite going into this match. When it comes to the finish, we saw Tiffany Stratton go up for her prettiest moonsault ever. A bit of a mess up, not by Tiffany Stratton, more so maybe by Michin. Didn't roll out the way in time, and Michin was caught by a bit of the moonsault, not all of it, got up, hit a eat defeat, and pinned Tiffany Stratton to go to the final of the Women's United States tournament that's going to happen at Saturday Night Main Event. Michin, it was a shock win. The finish was a bit flat because of that little incident with the moonsault, like I mentioned, but yeah, Michin getting that win. I think for me, it spelled that, yeah, I know who's winning that other semi-final now, and they're going to run it back. We had a couple of other backstage vignettes from DIY and Motor City Machine Gun, you know, sending for each other, why DIY turned heel. It was some really good, well shot stuff, and I think this is a really good story that DIY especially can sink their teeth into. It's going to help Motor City Machine Gun as well to kind of flesh out their characters as well, because they have been very much, you know, rah-rah baby faces so far. So I was happy to kind of see this, and I'm sure this story is going to progress into the new year. Carmelo Hayes was sent out into the ring to face his mystery opponent. Everyone had been speculating this is Pentagon. Pentagon has arrived in the WWE and Carmelo Hayes is going to face him. However, it was none other than the returning Braun Strowman. Last seen after his win against Bronson Reed in that crazy match that they had. Braun Strowman is now on SmackDown, and Braun Strowman had a match that was, what, 1.5 minutes against Carmelo Hayes, basically squashing Hayes. Hayes really sold well throughout the match. And yeah, Braun Strowman is maybe going to make a big splash now on SmackDown. We had a match between Solo Sikoa and LA Knight after their confrontation last week on SmackDown. This was a really fun match. Like, I was surprisingly, captured by this match. Some really good action between the two, and of course, Bloodline shenanigans on the outside. The match didn't get a winner because of Bloodline shenanigans on the outside. Jacob Fatu rising from the dust behind the commentary table, which was really, really fun, and took out LA Knight, which caused a Bloodline beatdown, which then called out Andrade and Apollo Crews to make a save. They didn't really get anywhere. The Bloodline stood tall at the end of the segment, and Solo Sikoa looking strong going into that possible match with Roman Reigns on the Netflix debut. The second women's semi-final match was next. Bayley versus Chelsea Green. The winner will go on to Saturday Night Main Event to face Michin for the United States title for the women. And this was a decent match. I don't feel like this was really... I don't feel the people in the audience were alive. And I'm not sure why that was. People are saying that this was maybe a pre-taped or a tape delay episode of SmackDown. It seemed like the fans weren't awake for this one at all. However, Chelsea Green was the sentimental favourite, and she delivered. After a long spell of Bayley on the outside, Bayley came back into the ring and got hit with an unpretty her. Chelsea Green pinned Bayley, and it will be at Saturday Night Main Event for the United States title, Chelsea Green versus Michin. Running it back from their dumpster match that Michin got the win, I'm quite confident in thinking Chelsea Green is going to be the inaugural Women's United States Champion. Last but not least, the show was closed off with a big promo segment between Cody Rhodes and Michael Cole, because Kevin Owens never turned up for it. But Kevin Owens did join us from his rental car as usual, telling Cody Rhodes to stop lying, to be a better friend, to tell the truth. And Cody Rhodes had basically had enough of Kevin Owens' jabs, and he went out to go and find Kevin Owens in the car park. Didn't make it to the car park because Kevin Owens was really hiding backstage somewhere. An attack began from backstage by Kevin Owens at getting the best of Cody Rhodes, dragging him out back into the arena, back into the middle of the ring, where of course people were and everything, trying to split them up and stuff like that. Kevin Owens was left standing tall, holding the undisputed WWE Championship. Yeah, I think we all know what that means, what's going to happen on Saturday Night Main Event. He's not winning it, but it was a really good visual. I would love if they would pull the trigger on a Kevin Owens title win, even if it was from this Saturday Night Main Event till the one in end of January. Like, I just feel like we need to pay off and help Kevin Owens' stock. We need to raise that stock somewhat again. So I really think that would help, but I can't imagine it happening. I think Cody Rhodes is going to retain on the night. So that was your SmackDown review. Let me know what you thought down below in the comments. Are you looking forward to the tribal combat match between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa? Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes. Who do you think is going to walk out of Saturday Night Main Event as the WWE champion? And of course, the new title, the Women's United States Championship. Who's going to walk out as the inaugural first ever winner, Chelsea Green or Meechin? Let me know down below in the comments. Again, if you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button, and if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. My name's Mex. I make videos on WWE and AEW, so if this sounds like something for you, hit that button and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know every time I drop a new video. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.